Hey,
Yes. All right. All right.
happy,
I love
happy
that song.
Friday.
Happy Friday. It is a happy Friday.
It,
Woohoo!
how are we?
D, we are doing fantastic. We are doing fantastic. We got through another week of being entrepreneurs in a space where we are setting our own schedule and oh
Doing the
God,
thing.
being in our accountability group, just thriving with these beautiful people that we are just building so much joy with. I mean, how are you? That's how I'm doing. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It has been, a lot of stuff going on this week. I am with you about another week as an entrepreneur. I think if I had to pick one thing that I love about being an entrepreneur is just being able to design my day how I need it every day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Just having
absolutely.
that flexibility, and then just to add on to our accountability, our Rise Up, Level Up group. Um, Not only do we get to watch people grow and get out of their shell, but I
Mm,
am loving these new relationships with people that we're building. Isn't that
right.
fun?
It is. It is. And what gets me the most in our accountability call, which is every day. And if you anybody is interested in needing a push, accountability, we are able to share our link and get you into the call. It's about an hour long, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we really do hold each other accountable. And Dee, you couldn't have said it better to watch each other grow and watch some folks grow and just from a space that we just got in and now we're growing. It's very important to have an accountability group, people who are going to push you to be your best and not let you make excuses and stuff like that. So I really am enjoying. That's one of my favorite parts of the day, of the work day, is that is our hour long accountability call.
Yeah, I do too. I want to ask you, like, the other thing that I get out of it is fun challenges, right? So you meet people who come in and we're sharing goals and we're talking about, like, today, what were some of the things that held us back last week? Or maybe we're identifying weaknesses out loud, and then you hear someone in your group be like, well, I'm gonna do this starting next week, and then you're going, well, I don't do that. I'm gonna not, like,
Right.
I want that what is that, friendly competition? But you're right, we push each other, stretch each other, and it is a great way to start the day every day. Every day,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't even get to say this yet because we just jumped right in because we're so excited
I know.
to get ready to talk about our title today. What we're going to be talking about is just that accountability and coachability,
Yeah.
right? Those are two things very essential to winning in life. So here we are. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today. We want to give a big shout out to Melissa, just for encouraging us and just really inspiring us to say that she's being inspired when she taps into the Ebs and Ivory calls on Friday. So that is the goal and mission. I am Ebs.
I am Ivory. I am D.
Right. Right. And I'm Shannon. But
Yeah.
we together make up Ebs and Ivory, and we are coming to you live today. Oh, not live yet. We're getting there though. We are getting to be live. So we made our goal to go live, and now we'll be able to. But we're coming to you today to just discuss. So let's get started. I think we already
Yeah.
started the conversation.
I think I'm ready too. I'm ready to dive in. There's a whole lot to hear about accountability and coachability. But before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we want to hear from our wealth winners and your comments and suggestions and all the things that you guys can kind of give back to us so that we can, keep going down the right track. Where are we inspiring, or what are some additional topics? We created our agenda. Can you believe this is episode 6? Can you?
Wow. And it
That
doesn't even fit. Does it feel like episode 6? It just feels like the long, like a long episode. That's how much fun this is.
it is. We were having so much fun, and I couldn't have had just a better co-host. So I'm
Oh,
super excited.
thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And I really feel the same. Like at this space, you have to, and we're going to talk about this, right? Being accountable. You have to find your people. You have to find people who are there too, right? And I think like we've known each other for going on 3 years now, right? But it's
Right.
just like you've had your own journey, I've had my own journey, and here we meet almost in the middle
Right.
after these, and it's just like I never had a partner to do like I like at this stage and knowing what I know to build a business, a real
Right.
business for not for past service. Of course, I always want to um I always delight in the service piece, but in something that can really be a passive income, passive streams of income. I'm super excited. And it wasn't even like I found you. It's like, you know, God put us together for a reason. So the Most High
Absolutely.
saw that plan.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As we know, right, we're walking on our own path, right? This is the path that's been chosen for us, even though it might have been a little hidden at first, and we're not sure really what the journey is going to hold for us. But we are certainly we're taking it and running with it, right?
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
important. I know we're going to talk about accountability and coachability today. I think it's super, super important. Let me just ask, right off the cuff, like as you and I are both learning how to have our own online business. We're both entrepreneurs. In some prior podcasts, you guys can go check them out. We talked about all the ideas, all the things, all the doors that shut, some open, some partially creaked open, some never
Hmm.
opened, right? And we're on this journey. I know Shannon, talk a little bit about kind of this is going to lead into some accountability and coachability, but you know, you're starting out, and what is going to be your online endeavor?
So, D, at this point, that's a good question now because at some points it's like, I don't know yet. So I'm so glad that that's not my answer. And
Right.
that was when I say to get to this space, that's the difference. So the my ultimate goal that I think of, because really I'm just a vehicle that's
Mhm.
used. Like I'm like, send me, I'll go. So what I think it is, and I can only think what it is because the bigger picture, I'll never like. I don't know why I'm here
Right.
doing this, but I know that I want to be able to be an accountability person, a mentor, who helps people get through. We have a lot of people who are, you walk down the street or you're in the airport or at the store, everybody's on their phone, scrolling for free. You know, we're going to need to be able to help these people get off of the scroll for free. I want to have a service that will be available to be a mentor and a coach to help people get to the other side of just scrolling mindlessly for free, aimlessly on their phone. So becoming an accountability partner. That's really a coachability partner, blended family partner, um, to help people be better. So I guess in the long run, I want to help people grow to areas in life that they can really live their best self and
Right.
celebrate the work that they've done to get there. So that's really what I see. And then, um, taking it all from there, I just want to help people online. I want to help people grow online.
Nice. Nice.
What
Again,
about you?
yeah, this is why we're sisters. So I always think of it this way, like what I want to be able to ultimately do while I'm on this journey, right? I want to remind everybody who's listening that you can learn and earn at the same time, and you can start building, right? And that's the glory of being able to get started with something that's ready for you to start rocking and rolling. For me, I like to look at it as I want to people learn to have a life online.
Hmm.
And what does that look like, right? What does a normal work day look like? What is the day in the life of a person who has chosen an online business or an online journey? So I think
Hmm.
that is it. Accountability, I think that's always going to be a part of something in my wheelhouse, just because I like to support. I like people to feel that they have somebody that they can lean on, talk to, right, listen to,
Right.
and especially those who we're all beginners, right, and we have
Right.
a lot to learn. So just being there in that place to help people learn how to have a life online.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And guess what? That this is essential when we think back, like, so we grew up like in the 80s, right? When we think back to jobs that were available there, jobs that were the good jobs, like,
Yeah,
oh, you work at the, you work in the hospital or you work at the post office, like these were good jobs. And
right,
now when you think about good jobs, there are a lot of like social, you ask someone what they do and they say they're the social media person at the corporation, or they do something with an online job, with jobs that weren't even created when we were coming
right,
up. These
right,
are
right.
new, these are brand new positions, and they are really starting to take over. When you think about having a top job in a corporation, it's a lot of times it's that online piece, it's that online function or that online job, chatting with people online. So this is starting an online business today is, to me, is essential to your future, right? If you're still in this space where you're working a 9 to 5, either outside of the home or from home online,
Right.
then you can continue to do that. But we definitely encourage that you find something to do that will push you in the direction to be able to take care of yourself and your family in the event that your corporate job lays you off,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Which is almost how we got here.
Yeah, exactly. And here's what's really to your point, right? This is to your point that it's coming so alive, if you will. In our past life, we did get laid off, right?
Hmm.
To outsourcing, nothing that we did, but
Right,
no fault of our own. And so, through that journey, you have to go through steps, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like you got to look for another job, and you're out there on the internet and you're looking Indeed and LinkedIn and whatever your sources.
right.
So interesting enough, through that exposure, right? Trying to make the right decision. Do you just jump right back in and go back to the job? And then we got to get into accountability and coachability, but this is really, really important. Um, I got an email from Indeed, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was like the top 24 best
Hmm.
work from home jobs.
Hmm.
And so curious, intrigued to open it up. Uh,
Hmm.
Digital marketing, social media manager, content scheduler, um, affiliate, um, affiliate content creating, all the things that you wouldn't even see in a university way back in the day,
I'm telling
right?
you.
So,
Hmm.
anywho, I just thought that was like, oh, well, digital marketing is now listed as a
A
true
good job.
home
And I
job,
can guarantee you that those are the jobs that are making, when we talked about in our first episode, and this ties into being coachable and accountable, because this just takes us up to the space of being coachable and accountable. We have to give you an example, and this is one. Like,
right?
so even in our business that we have now, I feel like learning the tips and gems and all of the things, I feel like if I were to um have a job like that, make at one point or some point or other, like
Yeah,
that would have been intimidating. Like, wait, what? I'm the going to be the digital what? Like, that just sounds scary. But
right.
getting out here and really doing the online digital work and being in the creator industry, it is first of all, it's fun. It allows you to be creative, and it allows you to meet other people. And when you work in a digital space, you can meet someone globally. You can meet someone from across the
Absolutely.
nation. So that's another good thing. But I
Yeah,
mean, you
but let me
gotta do it.
at this point, right? If you
Hmm.
in digital marketing, you're going to go to work for one of those work from home opportunities, and that company is going to pay you 50 or $70,000 a year. When you're an entrepreneur and you learn the skills and you have your own online business, there is no cap, right?
Right,
There is no limits to where you can
right,
what you can do, because as long as you keep learning,
right,
as we're going to build some products here. We've got
right,
retreats coming around next year. We've got a
right.
lot going on. So I just love that. I thought that was
Yeah, I love that.
all
How
right.
do you get there? How do you get there? By being
Coachable
accountable
and
and
accountable. You've got to
right.
learn, learn, learn.
So what
Um,
does it mean to be accountable? What does that look like when you're thinking about speaking? Because somebody may be listening, like, I don't really get it. Like, what does that really mean? So when you're thinking about being accountable or um, having an, what I'm saying, like, get you an accountability team, or we're encouraging that. What does that mean?
yeah, so that's a great question, because I think there would be a lot of people who would respond very, very differently to this, right? So I can share some kind of like examples of what I think accountability is and how others can help others. One is understanding and knowing that you have to be responsible for your own tasks, right?
Right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
being a team player, so being able to support not only yourself but also supporting others, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's being accountable for yourself, and that type of thing, right? Being open to feedback. I think that's
Right.
a big one, right? Even constructive criticism sometimes. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're with an accountability group or with an accountability circle, or maybe you just have a peer, right? And you have to be open to that feedback, right?
Right.
I
Right.
think you need to be able to offer feedback and constructive feedback because, again, you want the accountability to be just not one-sided, but
Right.
both ways, right? Um, I think that, in this accountability environment, you need to be able to clarify what your expectation might look like, right? Explain what needs to be done,
Right.
why it matters, how does it relate to what you're doing, and communicating goals, right? Communicating goals out loud. And we know that goals is a whole nother session. People set goals, but we know that there is, you have to set things that are measured,
Right.
things like that.
Right.
Yeah, so setting goals as well with it is being accountable for yourself and with others, I think. And then acknowledging like when you didn't do what you were supposed to do, right? So in our rise up level up call right now, we have
Right.
a check-in. We have a check-in and you have to say, hey there, did you do what you were supposed to do yesterday or you didn't, right? And you're saying it
Right.
yourself, but then to the group around you, yes, no, and maybe halfway and not complete,
Right.
right? But that would be kind of how I would respond to some accountability. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Right. I think you're right on. And I think when you ask the question in the group of, did you do what you were supposed to do? It's really not so much about other people hearing you say no. It's about you having to tell yourself no,
Right.
and why. But the good news is when you have someone that's holding you, or you have a group of people, you found your people that are going to hold you to it. What that does is it allows, for me, it makes me have that conversation with myself of why. What
Hmm.
were you doing that was more important than you doing what you told yourself you were going to do?
Right.
So, and then that becomes a tough, real conversation because, and in our business, you hear a lot of people doubting because maybe they tried something before and gave up, or doubting because, a lot of people like to measure your success about the amount of money you've made so
Uh-huh.
far, right? And
Boom,
it's just like,
boom,
what,
boom, and boom, boom.
right?
Right.
Right. But in the long run, like I'll say it 1,000 times, if you can't manage the money you had, then this is what we need to be able to successfully manage our future, right? So just being in a space to have that
Yeah.
is it's new, it's needed, and it's essential. So yeah, I agree with what you said.
I feel like there is some level of having someone like you or someone, a peer or coworker who's like-minded. I think that's
Yeah,
really, really
it's
important
important.
to have the conversation about going in. I want to just touch a little bit about on the fact that you bring up money, right?
Hmm.
Um, when you get started or when you're really diving into a new career, wanting to be online, whatever it is, right? You have to, like, I had to understand that I had to go through a complete mindset overhaul.
Right,
So
for
even
sure.
though I'm not running, what do you call it, the 6 mile in 60 seconds, but
Right.
I am making those changes in my life because of me learning to be accountable for myself
That's
first.
right. And that's wealth.
Yeah,
That's wealth.
that is wealth. And then next, which is going to be the coachability piece, right? And we're
Yeah.
going to talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that because I think this is an easy miss for a lot of people. You get up, you have an assignment, you're like, well, I checked it off. I did the assignment. Well, really, what did you receive from the assignment and what did you do with it, right? That really
Right.
dives us into being coachable. So what are some of the things that you would share, Shannon, about, being coachable and coachability?
You know what's funny? I don't know if you remember these times, and I know like when I was a kid and that we would go to church, and then after church, someone would say, "What was this? What was the service about?"
What
And
was the
I'd always
message
be
you
like,
heard?
I'd be like, humana, 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 you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and that I put $1 in the pot. It's just like, no, but what did you get? What did you
Right,
hear? Like, what was it?
right.
And we'd be up, we'd be clapping, we'd be ready to go. I'm going to take this into my week, and then as soon as you leave the door, it's like, well, what was it about?
Exactly.
That's what coachability is like. Okay, you heard the message, but
Yep.
now you took, because usually with the message, it's going to come with the three things, right? So they're always like, here's how you do it. This is how you stay motivated. Number one, you do this. Number two, you do that. Number three, you do this. And then they wrap up, usually in a sermon or a speech or something. There's
Right.
always some like call to actions. And then it's just like,
Action
okay,
items or
now
takeaways. Yep.
I didn't know what the 3 points were, but I knew I was there, and I knew, I sang, I did all the other things. But I think being coachable is the way to look at it is, what those 3 points are. And now you didn't only hear the message, you didn't only leave with the instruction, but now you really were intentional and serious about the three things to get motivated. So
Yeah.
now the next time I go, and I'm in a different stage in life. Now I'm going to get those three things. Well, what am I supposed to do for my peace? You're telling me that I can have peace if I pray, if I, do this, or if I don't be distracted by this and, do this thing. You're telling me that I'm trying those things. I'm going to try those things because that's me now being coachable.
Right.
And to me, that's what it is. And I know a long time. I know, like, I've been in this space for over a decade. And for over a decade, if I was coachable a decade ago, then I'd be in a different part of my walk right now. But
Right.
because I'm coachable now and I understand the importance of what being coachable looks like to get to the next level,
Right.
now the coachability part is something that I now know, something that I've learned along this journey, and something that I now can measure the way I'm thinking and the way that I'm doing things. And now I have something to measure, because if we're talking about something, and this had happened in our accountability call, like, okay, well, I got that part right. Okay, but did you go live? And
Right.
then there's no other answer. It's
Right.
just like,
No.
what was the service about?
Right.
I didn't do that part, right? But I expected something on the other side of it when I didn't really do all of the work. So being coachable, I never really thought about the importance of it, but now I know that just showing up is one part. They say 80% of it, 80% of success is just showing up.
Yep.
Well, then I'm gonna say the other 10 is being accountable, is being coachable and having and being accountable to what you've learned.
Right. Right. Excellent. That is excellent. And it was that was a hard thing for me because I would always tell you, I mean, I've been in the corporate world for like all my life. I've showed up to my job, I've done the things. This journey is way different because if I just show up the way that I showed up before, then I'm going to end
Right.
up in the same spot.
Mm.
So I
Hmm.
have to be coachable. And for me, what that really looks like is being intentional, uh,
Right.
and being accountable to myself. And it also means do the daggone exercise. What
Right.
the message, right? What was the message? Not what was the task just associated with it, but why are you doing the task, right? So that you can, that is how you change how you're coachable, right?
Right.
We're
Right.
not just showing up to check the list.
That's right. That's right. And boom, that's the part.
Yeah.
We're just
And
not showing up to be in the mix to say, oh, I got a
I
job,
did
I
it.
got a business.
I did all my things today. And then you asked me about it tomorrow and I didn't retain a thing. That's because I wasn't coachable. I didn't
Right. That's because raw. Oh, that's good.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's good.
I
And if
didn't
you were
retain what I
coachable,
did.
you would have took the yeah, that was good. You would have took the points and
Uh-huh.
really worked with them and really incorporate them into tomorrow. Right.
Hmm.
Because if we're coachable and they give me the 3 points today and I did the 3 points just to do the 3 points, but tomorrow something comes up and I don't go back to those 3 points that I learned to go to points to make the next
Right.
thing easier. You just did the assignment. You didn't do the
Just
work.
check the box. Yeah.
Oh, you just did the assignment. You didn't do the work.
That's right.
Ooh.
That is right.
And one thing you just said, I had to write this down quick because I did not want to lose this. Um, these things aren't new that we're learning, right? Being coachable and accountable, these aren't new things that we're learning, but it's how we're hearing them now.
Mhm.
It's how we're um,
Fun.
it it's now how we are implementing those things. It's not new to us. It's just like hearing a good song, right? You have a favorite song, that's your song, you put it on, we're gonna get that's my song. But now if I listen to that same song in a different stage, a different age in life, I'm like, what the heck? I like that song. What are they saying?
Exactly.
Or I never heard that sentimental part of that song. I just thought that song was my jam. I never. It's all about where you the perspective or the perception of what ears you're hearing that with. Are you
Right.
hearing it with the angry ears? Are you hearing it with the resentful ears? Are you hearing it with the ears when you had to go back to the job when you really didn't want to? What ears are you hearing? And now I'm hearing it from almost a desperate set of ears. Like, this is working out, darn it. Like, this is
Right.
it.
Right. That's a great, great way to look at it because and this is very interesting. So, if I took myself back 10 years ago, my favorite songs were because of the beat, right?
Hmm.
You asked me that today, my favorite songs are because of the lyrics.
The message, yeah.
And it's not always about the beat that goes behind it. It's about what is the lyrics or what is that song saying to me. So intentionally listening. That's a great, great point, to look at it. Now, I still love a good music where it makes me want to get
Oh,
up
yeah.
and get on
Oh,
my
yeah. Oh,
feet and do
absolutely.
all the things.
Oh,
But,
absolutely.
you do
You
pick,
know me, throw some music on. It's going to be a party. All I need is some music. That's
yeah,
right. It's a
yeah,
party anyway.
yeah. Awesome. That is so good. So what do you think? What kind of advice would you give to someone who answers, yeah, I'm a coachable person? Is there a question or what kind of advice would you give back to a person who actually feels like they're probably pretty coachable? Anything come to mind?
Well, I know for myself, like, if I ask myself, how do I measure how coachable I'm being?
Okay.
Well, now it's a different answer because it almost feels new to me, but it's really not. Like I said, it's not something we just learned about. We know a good coach, we know, but the fact that now I'm thinking about it, that I guess is what measures it to me, is that now instead of knowing that I have to send newsletters out, right now it's not a thing just because I read it, send a
Right.
newsletter each week. Now I want to do it
Right.
because I got through the coaching part of it. But I would say that writing down these 5 things and then really being intentional about seeing where you are with them. Like, if I'm being coachable, then I'm writing down goals from whatever I'm getting, right? Whatever blueprint I'm getting, whatever message, whatever webinar I'm in. I'm writing down points and I'm writing down at least 3 to 5 goals that I can set based on that information that's going to help me be better.
Okay.
Um, I'm also planning for rainy days, right? Knowing that it's not always going to be perfect. There may be some times that I miss a point or that I don't go back to a point, but being intentional about saying,
Sure.
I'm going to fall back into what it is that I know was a point. I'm going to be coachable. You can always go back. Everything's not always going to be perfect. And having grace for your setbacks,
Okay.
right? It's
Very
okay
good. Very
if
good.
you didn't and then you needed to reset and go forth again. And and also in the times that you found that you were coachable, celebrating yourself, like practicing gratitude, being thankful that I'm glad I was coachable to get up every morning and make your bed. I'm
Mm.
glad I was coachable to that now because I don't have to write that down on my goals anymore. It's just something that I know that it's now part of. I took it and I didn't make my bed last week 2 times, and then if I didn't make my bed today, it's okay
Right.
because now I'm all, I don't have to write it on my list
To do
anymore because I
this.
celebrate, right. And then the last one is, and this should have been the first one, is saying you're having some type of faith to hold on to and asking. We're to ask for wisdom and guidance, also asking, Lord, make me more coachable today.
Right. Very good.
Make me hear for my make me hear the things that make me want to be coachable to do better.
Yeah, open up the ears to receive, right?
That's
Open it
right.
up to receive it. Perfect. That's really, really good. You those are great tips. So I hope everybody heard those and took a minute and revisit those. Those are really good. The big one, right? Where there are two. Ask for the guidance, ask for the wisdom, ask for your ears to be open to receive, but intentionality. That to
Mm,
me is just the big part about even with accountability. This is how those
right.
two really tie in. And so I think that that's really good. What about the other side? What do you say to someone who is wanting to try a new adventure, who's wanting to be an entrepreneur, and they're not being coachable?
Right. And you know what? Honestly, what I would say,
Yeah,
you're not ready yet.
and you're not ready yet. I was going to say that. We're not being mean, but let me just tell you something. You're not ready yet.
You're not ready yet.
It's
And
not a
and no
one.
matter what you do, if on the other side of being coachable, you will give up. I don't want to speak this over anyone's life either, but
No,
I'll say
don't.
it'll be easier to give up. Let me say that. If you're not coachable, then you haven't made an
You're not ready.
intentional decision,
Mhm.
then chances are you're not
Right.
ready yet.
Yeah, that's great.
Now,
Yeah.
what tips would you give somebody on the flip side of that, looking at being accountable and having holding yourself accountable to your goals and to what you've promised yourself? What does that look like if you're going to give someone tips on understanding what that looks like to be accountable?
Mm-hmm. So I think, and I'm just going to answer off the cuff. I'm not a licensed accountability
Oh,
person or
right.
anything like
Right.
that.
Well,
You know,
I am. No, only
I know,
kidding.
I know. Well, we're on our way, but we're just
We're
having
on our
an
way.
open conversation, right? The first thing I think of that on being able to visually see whether or not you're being accountable is get yourself a really good day planner. Get yourself a
Mm,
calendar. I mean, don't just throw it down on your phone or put it on, post-it notes are great, but you need to be
right.
intentional to be organized on what you need to be accountable for. And so get yourself a really good calendar, or maybe you're a notebook person, you want to write your own date up there. And these were the three things that you needed to really get the message on, be accountable, and then complete, right? And then get you your favorite highlighter. This is basic stuff, but highlight that
Hmm.
as it's done. So as you're flipping through visually, at some point, you're going to go from two missed highlights to consecutive days of everything highlighted and being done.
Hmm.
And it's just going to be a real good visual set of accomplishments, right? Um, and that's because, also too, I feel like, writing, it's like when you read a book. Me, when I started reading books, Shannon, you don't know this
Hmm.
about me, but when I started reading books, because I didn't start reading books until I was a little bit older in my life, right? I was never
Okay.
a book reader. I,
Right.
I would have to read out loud to retain it,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? If you
Wow.
if you write it down for your accountability piece and you're highlighting crap that you're getting done, and all of a sudden you're flipping through and you're like, dag on, man, I hit 30 days of I did everything I said I was going to do, and now I'm
Right.
really setting the schedule, setting the pace, right? So
Right.
that would be how I would answer that question, as simple as it is.
Yeah, that's good. And that's funny that you said that because me too. I was never I think when I was in my 30s, late 30s, or no, right in my 30s, right in like my going into my 30s, mid 30s, I started reading books. That was one of the things that I would do in my resolution, like in the new year. Like I'm going to read
Okay.
5 books this year. And one year I did it. One year I read 5 books, and what I noticed was the books that I like are self help books. So I
Yeah.
was reading
Yeah.
those were my books, and I could read those, but like novels, I don't think I ever read like a romance novel. Like it's just not for me. And even if I try, like that first page, I'm reading it, I'm thinking about all other kind of stuff. I would have to read it out loud to retain it, or I'm gonna be thinking like, dang, I wonder if I can wear those jeans with that
I,
shirt. I wonder what we're having for dinner, right?
I
I
so listen, I am so envy to the people who will say, I'm gonna go to see the movie because I want to see if it's better than the
read
book.
the book.
Who sits down? Like, people sit down to the Stephen King,
Yeah,
all these things, and like, I got to go see the movie to see if it's better than the book. So
Yeah.
I read things that are
I'm
like,
going to see the movie because I didn't read the book. And
same, same. And I
I'm
have
not,
no way to compare. Yeah.
that just sounds awful. My granddaughter is an avid reader. She reads, and Naya is 17 now. And I'll take her to the library. 4 years ago, when we lived close by, she was 14 or 13. We'd go to the libraries, and this girl would come with books, this much books. And I'd be like, go ahead, Naya. And I was always, and then like the next day, she'd be like, Mama, you think we can go back to the library? I'm like, you just got books. Oh, I'm done. I read all those already. I'm like, girl, she didn't get it from me. But anyway, um, I was gonna say this because this is so good. If you're being coachable, then you've already Googled a good day planner and a good highlighter.
Exactly. Your favorite color highlighter as well.
That's right. If you're being coachable and you want to learn how to do more and have more, then you've already there was an opportunity to be coachable
Right.
right then
And
and there.
if you're ready to be accountable, right? You have to first just get ready to start leading and take personal responsibility for yourself and start asking for feedback and giving feedback and all the things. So,
That's right. And being at a level in life, because there was a time in life, if I'm being honest, I didn't want to hear feedback, right? Because I thought I got it going on. Don't tell me what I can do better, but I could tell everybody else what they needed to know. But now I sit in a seat and not that I ever, didn't I wasn't never in a space where I didn't receive it, but I just be like just always thought I was in control. That was that
right.
piece. Like that was damaging almost to
That's
just think that
that's
you're in
growth,
control.
Shannon. That's growth. That's a
Yeah.
lot of growth, right?
Yeah.
Me too. I didn't like feedback either until I got in my like 40s. And then I thought, well,
Mhm.
I guess I better start taking some feedback, right?
Right.
It's not all bad and not all good, but you do have to be open for that. So that's super.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is so fun.
Yeah. And both of those things are a part about it. I went live a little bit ago, and these are some of my notes, but it's kind of tying in. So I just wanted to say, wanting when you want more, right?
Okay.
It's okay to want more. So we should want more. We should not want to be. I always tell people, like, if you knew me yesterday, you shouldn't even think you know me today, because today I'm on my journey. I'm 1% better. I'm 1% different. I'm 1% removed from everything is that you knew about me. Maybe there was a time when you gave me some type of constructive feedback and you thought I just ignored it. I
Right.
likely probably could have, but now is a time when I am ready to give and take, because
Right.
then I was just more of a giver. But
Yeah.
now I sit in a seat where, you know, I am ready to give and take. There's an equal balance here. And in fact, I could take a little more now because it's been so many times that I've sat in that seat and used to think like wanting more. Um, does that mean I'm not grateful for what I have now? Or does that mean that I want to be better than who? Better than me, right?
Right.
And wanting more is a part of being human. And it's a way to make yourself do better. When you want more, you know that you have to do better. The questions that you ask yourself begin to be questions to guide you to your level up, right? To your rising up to the best part of yourself. And those are the things that we start thinking about when we think about wanting more, being accountable, being coachable, getting in groups with people who you didn't necessarily grow up with, because people you grew up with, we're all in different journeys right now.
Right.
You still love the people you grew up with. You still love the people. You still have great relationships with people who's have always been in your world. But
Right.
now you may start meeting other people, because this journey is a little bit different, where I
Yeah.
may talk to someone who's always been in my life, a family member, a cousin, a best friend, and they might just not get it. Or the girl, here she goes again. So
Right. That's
now's the
always
time
my
to get
response.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get around people who are this part of your life journey with you. And that part it's a different type of experience. It's
It
really fun.
really is. Yeah. And the other thing I want to throw out here too, just on the accountability piece, especially in this line, getting started being, excuse me, pardon me,
Mhm.
getting started learning how to work from anywhere, anytime, learning how to use social media, building your online business, becoming a coach. whether you're doing virtual calls, whatever that looks like.
Hmm.
um, you can sometimes feel isolated as well, right? You can feel
Right.
solo, like you're out here, like, I could wake up tomorrow and if I didn't do my things, nobody cares. Or
Right. That's
oh,
right.
right? Nobody cares but me. And then I'm going to beat myself up over it. I'm going to feel like you know what I mean? So it's real important to know that too, if you just have, a peer or a group or something that, showing up with that accountability also is nice to have, because it just takes that sense that you're not out here doing it alone. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Right.
Just got to align and find, what you're looking for, training, a place to, have conversation, questions, that extra push, whatever that looks like. So that's just another
Right.
piece. And I think that's least talked about in the online world. I really do. I think I think unfortunately people make decisions to give up and quit because of that piece. So important to make note of that. And, if you're out there listening and you find yourself that you're feeling frustrated and that hit home for you, then connect with a peer or, someone who can help just talk with you about your journey on the way and help you get to that space. Right. So super, I just feel like that
Right.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like to see people give up for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, heck, we've all thought about quitting, right? Because you don't get the results you want right
Yeah.
away. You don't turn things around quick enough. But thank gosh I have you in our accountability group and our Rise Up Level Up group, right? Because they keep us moving forward. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Now I just opened something up here on my computer, and I'm hoping that it allows me to be great, but I hope it wasn't acting. So there's actually a scripture that says that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, and they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. So even there's a biblical word that goes along with, having somebody when there's two or more, right? That means that you need somebody to be able to work with, somebody, and somebody who you trust, and somebody who has a good ethic, and they're not just, when we get off the call here together and we're being accountable to one another, and then I hang up and I go, lay down with chips and watch TV all day,
Well,
and then they show up the next day.
you can.
I can, but wait, but no, you really can't if you
I
haven't
know.
done your work.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
it could happen if I did, then it'd be like, how can I show up now to help somebody be better when
When
all
you,
I do is just show up to look the part on the call? I just want to look the part, but
yeah,
then when the call's over, I go off and,
about it.
having me drinks at 12 in the afternoon, and I'm, not doing anything else but showing up tomorrow just to make it seem like I'm, doing all the things. So,
Yeah, great. That's great feedback. Great advice. That's awesome. And that's hard sometimes too, I mean, you just got to keep going. You got to keep doing it.
right.
All right. This has been an awesome hour almost already, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
I
It really
so
has.
back.
It really has.
Yes.
So yeah, so good. It's just when you know more, you do more, right? They say when you know better, you do better. So
Yeah. I love
that is for sure something to know.
Well, I hope this information has been inspiring. I hope that we've just, if anything, made you think through a little bit about maybe where you are or what you've got going on. Again, this is just open, fun conversation that Shannon and we just kind of really just talk about but want to bring value here, right? Shannon, we want to bring some really
Absolutely.
good information. And you guys, we have an email, ebsandivory@gmail.com. Feel free to write us. Yep. Oh, go the other side. There you go, friend. The other side. Yeah. And, write us. Let us know, what you think, or give us some
Oh my God.
additional comments as we're building our agenda all the time with the podcast
Right.
we're going to cover. I'm really excited about this journey. And I think both of us, I'll speak for myself and then you can kind of come in behind me, but we just want to encourage and inspire. At the end of the day, um, I mean, for me, I mean, I wish I hadn't gotten started so late, understanding all the things, right? But it was, again, this is the path, and this is when it was supposed to happen for me. And so we just want to inspire and encourage you to do what the heck you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. Learn to have time freedom and all the things, and be an entrepreneur and really design your day.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what it's about. There were actually three tips too for the entrepreneur side of being coachable. Let me see if I can grab those quick. Let me see here. All right, so we talked about those five when we just want to like measure our us being coachable, and then they actually had two and I was given two examples too of an opportunity to be coachable, where we talked about today on our accountability call that our leader, our business coach and mentor, actually gave us two assignments, and two of those assignments I had already done, like write a big check to yourself, right? And so you write that check to yourself, and then you just put the check in a drawer, you put it somewhere where you can see it, and then also start tallying up the things you get. So if I wrote a $10,000 check to myself and dated it for the end of the month, within that month, I might have got half price on tires, 2 tires free.
Right,
I might have got a discount. I might have got a cheaper flight because whatever. So
right,
all of
right,
those things would come into play, but sometimes we don't think that all the way that thing through. And it's just like, oh, that check's still sitting there. We don't think about the all the little things that happen in the mix. And so that's one thing. And it was like, oh, I've done that before, but it's okay to do it again. So then the other thing was write that note to yourself when that big thing happened. You won a award, or you won a reward, or you won a big jackpot, or you got the client you've been waiting to get, or whatever it is, and just be in that moment. How do you feel? Are you smiling? Are you jumping
right.
up and down? Are you screaming with joy? What do you smell? What's cooking? What's in the air? What fragrance are you wearing? What color do you have on? Who's sitting next to you? Who you hugging? Start to think about those things. And of course, we've done that before, but it's like, oh, I could do it again because I didn't spray the cologne on the paper that time. So,
Right.
just really being coachable. So those are two examples of the things that I'm in the mix of being coachable for right now. And then two of those ways to stay motivated, if you are an entrepreneur, actually three ways to stay motivated as an entrepreneur. Here we go, being coachable and
Right, that's
accountable.
right.
Number one, focus, focus, focus. And I
Mhm.
know I said it 3 times, but that's just number one. Focus and listen for, pray to have ears to hear the parts that are the coachable exercises to do, and then be accountable to complete those things. And then look up and celebrate those success stories around you. And this one falls right back in. Find a community of like-minded people. See how it keeps pushing it.
Yes,
That's
yes,
always and one thing that's never there, plan. I never,
right.
and nothing that I said do, and none of the tips to be coachable, don't plan to be coachable. Just be coachable.
Wow, great. I love that. Way to wrap it up, Miss Shannon.
Yes.
Perfect. I love that. That is
Yeah.
so good. And they all sound like really simple words.
Right, right, right.
It's about putting them into action, right?
That's it.
Right.
That's it. Now
Awesome.
we're going to hold you guys accountable. And if you're working on a project, um, it could be somewhere where you want to get healthy, get on a health kick, lose weight, start a book, start a new program, whatever, go for walks, start
Right.
a
Whatever.
business. Drop it in the comments. Let us know if you are starting something and you need someone to hold you accountable, and send us an email and we can invite you to our accountability group. We'd love to have you there. Right there. Yeah, point to it there. I gotta move. I think I'm different.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we would love to meet you all there. And then also, just if you looking for tips or you want more information, just drop us a comment. We do reply to our comments, and actually we look forward to getting them. And we will shout you out right here next Friday when we do our next Ebs and Ivory call. We are super excited. Again, as we wrap up with another thought provoking, fun, and forward exercise, we hope that you've been inspired. We want you to have a wonderful weekend and tap into your excellence. And we want you to be safe.
And be kind. Peace out. You
Yes.
guys have a great one. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Good weekend.